Aloha, everyone. I am Sifu Z, and welcome to this special edition of the Dirty Dojo. It is, well, first, let me introduce what this channel is about, or typically about. And this channel is in respect to martial art exercise, martial art influenced exercise. Specifically Wing Chun, specifically grappling, or what's also known as China or Jiu-Jitsu, right? My background is both in fitness instruction and as a martial artist and a martial arts practitioner. Okay, without further ado, I have to put on some glasses if I expect to read some of your comments. Um, can give a little time here for onboarding of this live stream. This live stream has been going on for quite some time now, and uh, perhaps going on a year, if I'm not mistaken, or longer. And the time frames have changed as of late. It's been on Friday mornings, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. All right. The two things that are vital for our training sessions here is a sandbag and some water. I like to jokingly refer to this stream as a drinking show. Sand and water, some of the basic elements. I'm not sure if we're going to get to this or not. I say this is a special edition of the Dirty Dojo because this is the eve of what is, I suppose, called No King's Day. And I think this particular event, this particular situation that we, as Americans, as the world, we find ourselves in, sort of draws my attention as a Wing Chun practitioner. Uh, I'm compelled to say a thing or two, if you will. Let's bring it back to the Wing Chun, to the Wing Chun. And let me be specific what we're sort of talking about here. We're talking about authoritarian rule. We're talking about the banning of certain things, religions, practices. In relation to Wing Chun, I've said this before, aloha, Haley's. Hi, unless of course you're saying that you're from Hawaii, but aloha. None of us, or few of us, want authoritarian rule, but we have to sort of earn our way out of authoritarian rule. And I want to get to this. Mon was, his era was during the Boxer Rebellion. And if you know your history, the Boxer Rebellion was essentially the the banning of the Kung Fu men, of the Kung Fu men, right? Kung Fu, Kung Fu, same difference. Within that era, Wing Chun was illegal. It was illegal to train in Wing Chun, and certainly uh, you would have been figured out if you practiced any of the Chin Na or the grappling arts, right? Because it's pretty hard hide grappling. So Wing Chun was known predominantly as a striking or trapping art. I don't think you see the whole picture without understanding the Chin Na. So the whole Wing Chun picture gets abstracted and distorted due to no Chin Na, no concept of Chin Na. Andre Suderland, I do. Aloha. Okay, so how does this what does this have to do with what we're going through today? Let me know where you're coming from, where you where you folks are coming from. That would be very interesting. I'm here in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas in California. This is the day before the No King's Day, which is nationwide here in America. It'd be very interesting to see what happens. I'm sort of here to talk about that. Normally, we're doing training, and we might get to it if we have time. But I really wanted to talk about Wing Chun and its relation to authoritarianism. We're in the mid to late 1800s, the Boxer Rebellion. If you're not familiar with the Boxer Rebellion, look up the Boxer Rebellion. Rob Baker said, "Hi, aloha. I'm doing very well. Welcome." So here's the issue: we don't want authoritarianism here in America, yet we are not taking responsibility. What in Hawaii we would call a kuleana. We're not taking responsibility for our behaviors. And with 8 billion on the planet and growing, not taking responsibility for your behaviors breeds authoritarianism. And we've been through authoritarianism many times. In fact, it could be argued that America has never not been authoritarian. It's just a brand of authoritarianism. But I've seen other brands of authoritarianism, and America probably is, I don't know. Well, I won't go there. But who is going to manage 8 billion and growing if we don't take responsibility and and manage ourselves with, let's say, the book of humanity? We all follow the rules of humanity. Some would say that that's subjective. I would say no, it isn't. As humans, we objectively agree to the same stuff. We all want to be loved. We all want to be fed, housed. We have not come out of a slave system. We've only upgraded the slavery. So the slave masters don't have to really pay so much for your upkeep. Unless, again, make no mistake about it, if you don't work towards your own personal integrity, if you know the right thing, but you don't do the right thing, evil is good people not doing the right thing. So now we come to this nationwide protest. I want to ask, where was the protest when there were over a million and counting, perhaps even 4 million or more Americans going homeless? Where were the protests? Why are we protesting something that can be argued? And it should be argued. But why are we protesting something that could easily be argued when there are things that simply can't be argued, where we can't have our elderly and senior citizens homeless on the streets? There's no argument there. That shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't have Americans suffering because they can't afford health care. Unless, of course, they've abused themselves and they're beyond the affordability of healthcare. There's always caveats there, but it's not objective. We have to take care of of each other. We can't just let people get sick and die because they can't afford basic healthcare. Basic healthcare. Where are those protests? Now, in martial arts, we have a thing called open door and closed door. I've opened and closed my doors off and on over the years. There's a reason why we do this, and it's mostly because we have long understood in martial arts, in Wing Chun, part of our history, the censorship and authoritarianism and the takeover. We've understood this for a long time. Wing Chun has understood this. One of the early moves was the Red Junk Opera. This was pre Ip Man, but Wing Chun, again, illegal. And Wing Chun practitioners were being sought after, and they would actually dress as women and play in the Red Junk Opera. The Red Junk Opera were boats that had performers on it, and they would dock and perform right there on the boat. It's sort of where our pole form originates from, are the red boat junk operas. So Wing Chun has opened and closed its doors in many ways and has even disguised itself. Oddly enough, Wing Chun was invented by women, then the men started practicing it, became illegal. It's always, apparently Wing Chun was always illegal, even when the women were training it back in the day, oh, say 400 years ago. Wing Chun, in my assessment, in my humble assessment, has been the only viable path to humanity because it focuses on personal integrity, structure. The physical world is connected to the metaphysical world, so to speak, right? We're not talking spiritual here, metaphysical words. We're doing metaphysical stuff right now. We're using words. So just to keep us on point here, I created Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is a play on the Hawaiian Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea means white mountain. Mauna Kea means fight mountain. And the mountain that we're fighting in our Wing Chun is the mountain of ignorance. And there's a play on words there too, the white mountain. This mountain of ignorance, Mauna Kea. If as a society we're going to ignore personal integrity, we are each responsible for our own personal integrity. And then relaying that integrity, that structure to our communities, to our loved ones. How easily manipulated are we? Very concerning. We have an opportunity, and I don't think these windows of opportunities will exist for long. It's much like the window of opportunity to observe the universe. Apparently, maybe millions of years from now or more, we will not be able to see the stars. Anyone born would only hear stories or see pictures of the stars, the universe, because apparently, w- this is just a concept in astrophysics. Let's not get too wrapped up in the validity of it, just a concept. And that concept fits this window of opportunity 8 billion and growing. How are we not going to fall into authoritarian rule unless we do the one thing that we could probably, the only thing we can truly do as individuals? Yes, and us humans are really symbiosis. However, there is one thing that we can do as individuals, and that is maintain physical integrity. And that physical integrity will relate into a metaphysical integrity. In other words, The things that you say match the things that you do, match the actual structure. We're currently living in a world where we say one thing and we do the other. We say we're human, but we act like animals and irresponsible children. How else are we not going to have authoritarian rule? We are ushering in the authoritarian rule. We accept that someone creates the problem and then cashes in on the solution. We're accepting that slave master relationship once again, over and over. And we have a window of opportunity by way of this mass communication. People from all over the world can see this. Will the algorithms feed it to you? I don't know. But I feel irresponsible to not mention that personal integrity starts with us. It's the one thing that we have. Let's say free will is to keep ourselves not just physically fit, not just mentally strong, not just emotionally strong, but physically have integrity, a true integrity that personally can refer to, because then we can trust our very small percentage yet unique perspective, because it's each of our unique perspectives that needs to be revealed. We don't typically know what our unique perspective is unless we really work on it, because most of your respectives perspectives are just regurgitations of the media that you've heard, or even perhaps from your community. There's so many outside factors that influence your perspective that it's very difficult to truly name what your unique perspective is. This is where the arts come in. 1% for the art, very popular concept. Such a small percentage, but so important for each of us to understand what is our structure, our unique structure. Now, it's unique only in that it's yours, but it all pretty much looks the same skeletally, tendons, joints, muscles, all that stuff pretty much the same. So, this is the eve before No King's Day. Explain what's a proton. Monet Labonenti, a proton, photon, and an electron, and a gluon, and a proton is a component of an atom. This is not a physics show, man, but I do appreciate um, the question, Manette. Yes. Would you like to explain what you know of a proton? I think that's an interesting diversion. I have a similar retort, which is when someone's trying to talk politics to me, I'll typically ask them what 9 times 7 is, right? Well, thank you, Monette. Typically, we're training. It's the eve before No King's Day. And this really strikes a chord with me as a Wing Chun practitioner. And it's because we've been here before. As a human species, we've been here over and over. As Americans, we've been here. And I've been asking this question for a long time. If we are a people of 8 billion and growing, how are we to govern ourselves? Because if we don't govern ourselves in a civil manner, in a humane manner, then someone else will. And the old school method of governing large masses of people, especially unruly people, is just through, you know, let's just make a bunch of people violent, or let's agitate them, make them violent, and then let's wipe them out. Yeah, it's the oldest trick in the book, and it works. Keeps working over and over until the masses get smarter. And to get smarter, you have to be pulling from some form of personal integrity, some form of personal structure, some sort of intelligence, objective intelligence. Simple, objective intelligence. Ask questions. Don't just get nudged emotionally. I found out about No King's Day, what, a few days ago? I'll ask again. What happened to the protests when millions of Americans became homeless, especially millions of senior citizens became homeless? Where were the protests? Why are we protesting something that could be argued when we have plenty of things that we could be protesting that there simply is no objective argument for? It's like getting into a fist fight over someone that accidentally bumps into you, yet ignoring someone that is trying to attack you. Like, you really do need to get your priorities straight here. That's all I'm saying. Sure, does this issue need to be dealt with? Yeah. Is it being dealt with properly? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. All I know is it's a great diversion to what really should be focused on, which is basic humanity. Yeah. Yeah. The objective, basic, objective humanity. Let's not let people be sick. Let's not let people go homeless in the streets. That's crazy. That's just nuts. That's nutso. But it's happened before, and it certainly will happen again if 8 billion people don't at least a powerful ratio of people. I don't know what that number is. I don't know what the ratio is, but we need to have personal integrity, personal physical integrity that's understood in Wing Chun. It's understood just fine. Personal and Kim Ma, integrity, structure, understood really well. I've been in it the whole time. If you're a Wing Chun person, you've probably been in Wing Chun and Kim Ma this whole time. Because through structure, it's a provable thing. It's provable structure, right? Triangles, squares, geometry. When you embody that structure, that integrity, it then informs your metaphysics. It informs your intelligence, your emotion. That's all this stuff that's so important for us these days. Right now, it's never been more important. And here's the thing, when you have something that's this important and this impactful, there eventually come forces that we'll try to end that, right? We'll try to end that bit of data. They'll try to end that bit of information. Information is cheap. It's out there in abundance. But acting on this little bit of information, I give this information away freely. It's the community that we organize together. But the basic information is this: Kimima, the Wing Chun sheep grasping or goat grasping stance. That's where it all starts. It sounds crazy to some of you. Others, of course, we know posture, posture, integrity, and posture are everything. It's the root of our humanity. It's the root of our species. Forget about the terminology humanity. We lose our roots, we die. We don't have feathers. We lose our roots. We are of this earth. We lose our roots. Not such a good thing. Mauna Allah. Fight that mountain of ignorance. Fight that mountain of ignorance even from within. That's the first place to start. You don't have to go out there. I would never dissuade anyone from doing this protest, but I suspect that it's just part of the manipulation. And what really needs to occur is personal integrity. Understand that personal integrity will reveal that 1% unique perspective that is so vital to the world, to humanity. Everybody is just, it's an echo chamber, it's a distortion, an abstraction of the same thing over and over again. And we'll never break free from this slave master paradigm. And it's up to us. It's the one thing that we have as individuals. It's the one bit of free will that we have is to engage in personal structure. Engage in structure. Strength is structure. So the strongest posture is the strongest structure. It's very experimentally provable what structures are stronger. Embrace those structures. I know there are other structures. There's this structure, there's this structure, there's this structure, there's this structure, there's all these structures. We're talking about one structure, which is the Wing Chun Kimima structure. Not going to go into it right now. Plenty online. There's plenty of videos I've put online as well regarding the Kimima structure. Your personal integrity and structure, your physical and structure, physical instructor. Did I say instructor? That's interesting. Integrity, structure, instructure. We might have invented a new word. Congratulations, guys. Our personal structure, our personal integrity, our physical integrity informs our metaphysics. Let that inform your emotion and your intelligence first and foremost. Of course, we get all of this comes in. We get that. That's given. But art, the one thing that art, not just Wing Chun, but art in general has shown me, shown many artists throughout the ages, is that art is about unique perspectives, really finding what is unique about your perspective, about a Van Gogh or a Manet or a Monet, or what is unique about their perspective. Even in photography, what is unique about that photographer's perspective? In martial arts, what is unique about your perspective? That is the job of an artist. It's a job of a martial arts instructor, is to give you the tools to allow you to do the work that will reveal your unique perspective. All right, this is usually a half hour class. Typically, we're doing sandbag and we're doing some martial art exercises and whatnot. I'll tell you what, if anyone has a question or a request regarding a self defense move or a martial art inspired exercise, you can put it down in the chat right now and we'll see what we can do. But if you're watching this in the future, then go ahead and leave that question in the comments, and then I'll answer it in a future video. Again, Mauna Kea, fight that mountain of ignorance from within, first and foremost. Yes, we should be protesting. I want to make this very clear. We should be protesting a lot of things. I just think that the priorities are kind of weird. I think it's very suspicious that there has been some entity that has organized a nationwide protest in 1 week's time. What happened to the protests when millions of Americans, especially senior citizens, became homeless. I will argue we have always been a brand of authoritarian. I think the word authoritarian isn't really correct here. This is something I haven't didn't go into, but I'm going to have to tag on to here. There is no doubt about what sort of politics we're involved in. It's an idiocracy and it's a kleptocracy. This is not authoritarianism. There are no decent authorities in the house. We are in a straight up kleptocracy and idiocracy. The idiocracy allows for the kleptocracy. Let's make no bones about it, America has always been stolen land and continues to be. The owners of the land are the hosts of the land, the people that take care of the land, that nurture the land, whoever that might be. It's not a particular race of people, you know. So good luck to you folks out there that are out there with a good heart, with the right intentions of making a change, of confronting the corruption. Good luck and be safe out there. There are a lot of folks that, for many reasons, can't join you, would love to join you, but for various reasons, because authoritarianism has been going on for a long time here in America. In fact, if you have walls and a roof, you've succumbed to X amount of authoritarianism, haven't you? Right? Haven't we? So let's call out what we're really fighting here. We're fighting a kleptocracy that allows an idiocracy that allows for a kleptocracy. If you haven't seen the movie Idiocracy, look it up. It's a great movie. It's more of like a futuristic bio. Uh, what do you call those? Documentary. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, it's more like a historical documentary. Idiocracy. We've created an idiocracy that allows for this kleptocracy. There are no authorities. There are no adults in the room. Personal integrity is what's going to get us there, folks. Personal structure. Train in Wing Chun. Look up Kim Yi Ma. Start doing Kim Yi Ma and just meditate. Try to clear your mind and see all the stuff that's going on in your mind, even though you didn't ask for it to be there. And then think how easily that mind is able to be manipulated. Try to clear your mind. Think of all the stuff that's going to pay attention to all the stuff that's going to go through your mind as you're just doing your Kimya mind. You're trying to clear your mind. Meditation isn't about clearing your mind. Meditation is about seeing how busy your mind is against your will. Therefore, being able to take on more true agency. I hope everything I'm saying makes sense. I know a lot of times I'll go on a rant and perhaps not make a lot of sense. I have a feeling I'm making a bit of sense. I feel as if you, my dear listener, can make sense of my words. If I don't make any sense, please leave a comment down below. If it's in respect to the topic that we're talking about here. I will see you guys next week. No kings willing. I don't know. That's not what I'm trying to say, but yeah. And if I see you next week, be sure to bring your sandbag and make sure you drink lots of water. Work on personal integrity and physical structure. My lesson today has been, in a sentence, your physical integrity influences your metaphysical. The physical influences the metaphysical. All right. I'll see you next week. No King's Day. Be safe, everybody.